On April 18th, 2022, Manchester United had confirmed the appointment of the then Ajax head coach Erik Ten Hag as their new manager from the end of that season until June 2025. Ten Hag came in to replace Ralf Rangnick, who had been working at United in an interim capacity since former manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked by the club in November 2021. Rangnick's United had come under intense scrutiny following their Champions League exit at the hands of Atletico and a 1-0 Premier League defeat by struggling Everton. And of course, United also suffered a humiliating 4-0 loss to rivals Liverpool and a 5-0 loss to Liverpool even earlier in the season. So when Ten Hag was hired for United, there was sure tons of work to be done, but despite this, the optimism was everywhere and Man United fans thought that they could finally have a competent manager that will bring United back to the glory days. Fast forward to now, United sit 10th in the Premier League, and while yes, I know it's still so early in the season, being that United have only played 8 games in the Prem and just 2 in the Champions League, as it stands, it's really not looking good. After some horrible displays and losing both their Champions League games, being a 3-2 defeat to Galatasaray and a 4-3 loss to Bayern, and despite coming off a win in their most recent game thanks to 2 incredibly late last-minute goals from Scott McTominay, United fans and footballing fans are maybe starting to question the ability of Ten Hag as the manager. So, in today's video, I will be discussing what I think of Erik Ten Hag as Man United's manager, and if I think he has the capabilities to bring them back to the top. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Now, Ten Hag began his playing career as a centre-back with the Eredivisie team Twente, and in 1990 he moved to De Graafschap. In his debut season with De Graafschap, he won the Eerste Divisie, which is essentially their championship. It's the second division in the Netherlands. He returned to Twente in 1992 and just 2 years later switched to RKC Waalwijk, where he stayed for 1 season until joining Utrecht in 1995. Ten Hag returned to Twente for the 3rd time in 1996, winning the KNVB Cup there in 2001, and at the age of 32 he retired in 2002. Following his retirement, Ten Hag joined Twente's academy as a coach, originally handling the under-17 team, then the under-19 team until 2006. In 2006, he was appointed as the assistant manager for Twente. He then joined PSV as an assistant coach to Fred Rutten, and Mark Overmars, who was a shareholder in the club Go Ahead Eagles, appointed Ten Hag as the manager in 2012. Ten Hag then guided the Go Ahead Eagles to their first promotion in 17 years during his first and only season with the team. He later managed Bayern Munich 2 from June 2013 until 2015. Ten Hag then took over as a sporting director and head coach of Utrecht in the summer of 2015, and he led the club to a 5th place finish in his first season. During the 2016-2017 season, he helped FC Utrecht finish 4th, earning them a spot in the UEFA Europa League qualifiers. Now onto his time at Ajax. He was named as Ajax's head coach on December 21st, 2017, after the club fired Marcel Kietzer. After just 2 years at the helm, in 2019, he led the team to the semi-finals of the 2018-19 UEFA Champions League. This was the first time since 1997 that Ajax got that far, and in this run they beat the defending champions Real Madrid 4-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu in the round of 16, also beating Juventus away 2-1 in the quarterfinals after drawing the first leg 1-1 at home. He took Ajax to a 1-0 lead against Tottenham Hotspur in the first leg of the semi-final at the newly completed Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. However, in the second leg, that infamous second-half hat-trick by Lucas Moura for Tottenham Hotspur happened, with the final goal coming in the 96th minute to make it 3-2 on the night and 3-3 on aggregate to win on away goals and knock Ajax out, bringing an end to their Cinderella run. This run put Ten Hag on the map. Football teams around Europe and around the world had a newfound respect for Erik Ten Hag, and he was now looked at as a really good manager. Now, the rest of Erik Ten Hag's time at Ajax was reasonably successful. He secured the KNVB Cup and the Eredivisie title in the next season, and in the 1920 season, Ajax started strong in the Eredivisie but faced challenges and the season was nullified due to the pandemic. In Europe, they progressed to the UEFA Europa League where they were knocked out by Getafe. In the 2020-2021 season, Ajax saw an impressive performance in the Eredivisie and a perfect group stage record in the UEFA Champions League. Ten Hag became the fastest manager to reach 100 wins in league history. In the 2021-2022 season, Ajax secured their third Eredivisie title in 4 years, reached the KNVB Cup final but lost to PSV, and had a strong run in the UEFA Champions League but eventually were eliminated in the round of 16 by Benfica. Now, Manchester United considered a reported 8 different managers before choosing Erik Ten Hag to become their 5th permanent appointment since Alex Ferguson's retirement in 2013, Sir Alex Ferguson. The list included Mauricio Pochettino, Luis Enrique, Julian Lopetegui, Ten Hag of course, Julian Nagelsmann, Thomas Tuchel, Brendan Rodgers, and even Zinedine Zidane. Now, coming into United at the time was a huge task. Pogba was out of contract at the end of the season, Sancho wasn't looking amazing, Ronaldo, while putting up really good numbers, was aging and didn't quite look like the same player. The club was, for a lack of a better expression I suppose, it was rotten. Let's just be honest, it was rotten at the time. And what Ten Hag had to do was quite a huge task. But since Ten Hag's arrival at United, things were on the up. You know, they finished third in his first season for United behind Arsenal and the champions Man City. They won the Carabao Cup and looked decent for a lot of the season. And despite some bad losses throughout the season, mainly that 4-0 loss against Brentford, it wasn't a bad first season at the club. And you know, the club was in turmoil. They went through so many ups and downs, but I think that season, the first season from Ten Hag, was reasonably good. He achieved more stability in the club, and obviously, like I said, they won the Carabao Cup, finished third. Wasn't a bad season at all. But now, that brings us to this season, which is his second season. Despite making some significant acquisitions of obviously Højlund, Mason Mount, Andre Onana, along with some other decent squad players, they haven't looked that good this season. And where all of us expected to see some sort of improvement, whether it be around the team's stability, the players, we've seen regression, if we're being honest. It just hasn't looked good. Not to mention, obviously, the falling out with Jadon Sancho that you can't help but feel has impacted the club drastically, both the players and the managers. So is he the right man for the job? In a vacuum, I would say yes. Look, rebuilds are not always easy. Think about Arteta, who obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, so I know this really well. Arteta went through so much. Losing streaks, being booed off, fallen out with the captain and the franchise cornerstone, which was Aubameyang. But look where Arsenal are today. Arteta came in with a philosophy and stuck by it despite the results, which I suppose some of us hated at the time, but looking back at it, I think that was one of the best moves. He stuck to his philosophy, and look where Arsenal are now. If Ten Hag can do the same, then I have little doubt that he can at least make United a reasonably strong and feared team around Europe. It's a tall order, don't get me wrong. And while on paper, Ten Hag's pedigree is questionable, considering his greatest time as a manager came in a somewhat non-competitive league with the best team in the league, I think he has the right character and philosophy to bring United out of the depths of hell. Look, there's still tons of work for Ten Hag to do. He needs to get rid of any cancerous players in the dressing room. If Jadon Sancho is one of them, then I agree with what Ten Hag is doing. If he's not, then I don't know. I do think what he's doing right now is the correct approach. I would never, as a manager, obviously I'm not a manager, but I completely agree with shutting Jadon Sancho out. If he isn't training hard enough and then he comes out on social media and basically calls you a liar, I think that's completely disrespectful from Sancho. It's well out of order. If you're in a normal job and you call your boss a liar, what's going to happen? I completely agree with what Ten Hag's trying to do by instilling discipline, because I think it was Ben Foster that said if that had happened in United with Sir Alex Ferguson, you ain't ever playing again. So Again, I understand Sancho could be probably one of your best players in the club, but if he hasn't got the right mentality to help fix this club, then he shouldn't be playing for United. United is one of the greatest clubs in history, and that hurts saying as an Arsenal fan, but it's true. And if they want to get back to where they should be, they're going to need all the players to come together and work together as a unit. If you will do it is a whole nother question. Again, he is quite experienced, like we've found out throughout the video, but he's not experienced with a top team in a top 5 league. That's just the brunt of it. But what do you guys think? Is Ten Hag the right man for the job? Is he nothing but an overrated manager that is simply living off that UCL run in 2017? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.